Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. SumDumBuys, Part 7 of Black Friday attacks. And what do we have? More boxes. As it turns out, I was only expecting to do my next Groove shipment, which I've been waiting for, and small Amazon envelope. As I touched base on in part 6, part of my Black Friday, Cyber Monday Amazon haul wasn't scheduled to ship and arrive to me until January 6th through the 8th, somewhere in that neighborhood. Well, that was my knuckles, by the way. Out of the blue this morning, I get notification that's going to arrive today. Way ahead of schedule. There she be. So, I guess the good news is that the old Black Friday saga is going to come to a close much sooner than I anticipated. Although there is still one title floating around out there from Amazon that still has that same January 6th through 8th expected delivery date attached to it. That one may or may not come early as well. I still have a very substantial Kino Lorber package coming in. I haven't gotten shipment notification on that one yet. It was being held pending restocking of one title. And I got email yesterday saying that everything is now accounted for and they're processing it and preparing for shipment. So that will be that when it comes in. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and work through this and see what's there and proceed. So, part 7 here. Obviously, there's going to be an 8. What comes after? I don't know. Let's see. Let's dive in, though, shall we? Yeah. Since we've been on the Groove train for some time, I think it's only fitting we continue that one to completion and start there on this episode. And of course we don't want that. We are going to start with some DVD, because they still make those and I still buy them, but typically only when there's either A, no alternative, or B, when it is television, because I'm nowhere near as particular when it comes to TV about which format I buy. Sometimes I have DVD, sometimes I have Blu-ray, sometimes I have 4K. In this case, DVD is the only option. I've been holding off on this one for a while, hoping that a Blu-ray at least would be forthcoming, and kind of surprised that it's not, considering what else in its ilk has already been released in Blu-ray. So, without further ado, this is a, well, let's just call it 99.9% blind buy, because it is a TV show. I have seen, I think, maybe one episode or part of an episode. We have a surprise visitor lurking because she heard me talking, and of course she had to come running and see. I wasn't talking to you, sugar, but I can be if you want. He's so cute. So, I have seen, I believe, one episode, kitty fur, or part of an episode. Does that justify buying the whole series? Why not? It is a Justice League animated DC. I have the Justice League Unlimited complete series, and for some reason Warner Brothers has opted to release that one on Blu-ray, but not this one that came before it. And Batman flies in space, and apparently the Flash runs in space. Kind of object to that. Either way, I don't know why this one is still languishing on DVD, and they've pretty much upgraded everything DC animation to Blu-ray or above at this point. But this sad one here is languishing in DVD territory. Even the Super Friends got a Blu-ray release. Moving on, continuing the expansion of my Clint Eastwood library, not a blind buy. We have Clint Eastwood's Gran Torino. This was a good film, and I enjoyed it. I will enjoy watching it again. We love Clint Eastwood. Next up, Blu-ray, Blind Buy, a classic starring the one and only Humphrey Bogart. We have The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. There's a blind buy on this one because I've never seen it, but reputationally, of course, I've known it for many years. This will mark, I believe, either my second or third Humphrey Bogart title. I obviously have Casablanca, who wouldn't? Now I have this. I want to say there's one more Bogart title that I own, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'd like to expand my horizons in that department. Next up, we have a blind buy Blu-ray, and somewhat of a theme, I think, possibly for this unboxing, if memory serves, and this is partial confirmation. We have more Clint Eastwood in The Mule. Is that drug mule or actual animal mule? I don't know. I don't care. I will discover when I watch, and that will be that. Inspired by a true story. That doesn't typically appeal to me. I've talked about my somewhat of my aversion to biopics, but inspired by a true story does not necessarily mean biopic, but we shall find out. Next up, Blu-ray classic blind buy, starring a whole group of people including Scott Glenn, Ed Harris, Lance Henriksen, Scott Pollan, never heard of him, Dennis Quaid, yay, Sam Shepard, yay, Fred Ward, yay, Kim Stanley, don't know her, Barbara Hershey, yay, Veronica Cartwright, yay, Pamela Reed, yay, ooh, music by Bill Conti, the Rocky legend. What we have is the blind buy Blu-ray of The Right Stuff, Pioneer Astronaut goodness, which I've never seen. We shall remedy that most soon. Okay, yes, confirmed after all for my next pick here, Blu-ray blind buy. Confirmation of more Clint Eastwood. Where's our theme? True crime. Groove had substantial, well, I think 2 substantial Blu-ray sales for Black Friday, and within those was a whole lot of Clint Eastwood titles, and I indulged. I probably, when all said and done, I'll figure it all out here. I'm probably going to do like a conclusion summary something video, because this and this and this and what's still coming in, it's big. I thought it might be interesting, kind of just playing with the thought in the back of my head, to do some kind of, I don't know, an epilogue for this. We'll see. Nothing planned concrete yet. But in the meantime, Blu-ray blind buy, Clint Eastwood in Blood Work. All these guys are, well, let's just say reasonably newer, at the least, Clint Eastwood, and by that I mean older Clint Eastwood titles. Older Clint Eastwood, not older titles. So, yeah, I don't know. I have something of a slight affinity, I guess, for older Clint Eastwood over younger Clint Eastwood. I don't know why. Hey, look. Someone's camping out in my spot. Okay, groove's done. The last package, this one's going to be relatively quick because there's only 2 in that big old box. This is a film that came out this year, and I have very strong mixed feelings about it. I did see it in the theater. A friend of mine went and saw it, and we actually had a private screening inadvertently, which was really surprising considering that it was anticipated in a new film. But it deserves a rewatch. I held off on buying it for quite a while because it took quite a while for the price to come down on this one, and I wasn't going to spend more than $20 on this 4K just because of my mixed feelings. But without further ado, we have 4K of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I don't applaud Ghostbusters Afterlife like a lot of people do, or did when it came out. It's a lot of fun. It was really refreshing. But it's got a crap ton of flaws too. This, as a continuation, has probably a lot more flaws, and sadly it's a lot less engaging. As you can see here, it's overly crowded within the cast, and there's too much shoehorning going on, trying to justify the presence of everybody, which I was always concerned about when after Afterlife came out and it was announced that a follow-up would be made and things were being taken back to New York City. How do you bring that whole cast along with? Because, okay, yeah, you've got one family that you can transport back to New York, okay, but you've got side characters that are just ancillary friends. You're going to move and that's exactly what they did. Everybody's going to move everybody to New York and just kind of transport them there and then merge them back with the original cast as well. Let's just say my suspension of disbelief was strained a little bit further than I would ordinarily like. Last but not least, this purchase here I made only because the price was really great, because it's something I already own. It's not an upgrade. It's a purchase I made for consolidation purposes, really. And by that I mean size consolidation. Because the collection, this is a TV series that I own, isn't the best presentation of the series. And by that I don't mean like on screen, I mean like on shelf. I purchased it before it was completed in a box set, which I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I knew better. So it was 6 out of the 8 seasons, because that's all there was at the time. But I didn't get a great price on that. And when I got that, I was upgrading from DVD to Blu-ray. But aside from being incomplete, I imported it through Amazon UK because it was very cost effective that way. I don't know why, but it often is. But is so frequent in getting any kind of physical media out of the UK, they tend to use really thick cases, which I think I've covered once or twice in some of my videos when I've had something to present like that. So I only got 6. The cases are thicker. Season 7 and 8 came along. I bought those. Those individual cases were not any better as far as thickness goes. And this show was originally released in the stupid little digipack kind of things, which are gatefolds or whatever you want to call them, and I hate them. That's a very long-winded way of saying that I decided to upgrade to this new Blu-ray set, which I obviously can't see anything inside of it whatsoever. Some discs seem to be floating around in there. Hopefully nothing's broken or scratched, but this should be a much more compact presentation than what I currently have on the shelf. Did I waste my money? It is Game of Thrones. The last couple seasons, last 2 seasons specifically, are a waste. But okay, there's no justifying this one. I can try to talk myself out of this all day long, and I don't think I'm going to get anywhere. But let's just say, hey, I got it. There it is. I'm going to hold this up to what's sitting on my shelf and just see overall. I mean, obviously this box is pretty thin too, but I'm going to see just how much space I'm actually going to save for the, I think I paid $59.99, so $60 for this thing. I'll look that up and make sure. Did I save 2 inches worth of space width-wise on my shelves? If I'm lucky. But between that and having consistent packaging for each individual season, just weird like that. Yeah. I've said more than once on these videos, my channel, that I have a problem. And none of you have sent help yet. I don't know. It's got no backing at all. Anyway, that's that. That's everything that I have here. We're done. Stay tuned for part 8 on a to-be-determined date, because I don't know when my next Kino Lorber shipment is coming. So it will be soon. It will be here, and we shall present. Focus. Good night, and thank you for joining me. Did you pick up anything yourself for Black Friday? Did you pick up any of these titles? Do you have anything to say about the titles that I've presented? Use the little keyboards. Make words down here. Please. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.